Hi, everybody. First of all, sorry that I can't be there to give this update in person, but here's a video. Hope you like it. Secondly, thank you so much for your contribution to my mission trip. I've been back for something like 8 months now. Doesn't seem possible. And yeah, you really got me there, and I thank you so much for that. So you've just seen a video with just a bunch of pictures, a montage of what the trip was like. People asked me as I came back, how was it? And it was just such a funny question. It was like, well, you update me on 6 months of your life after you traveled to 3 continents and 5 countries. And yeah, do it within 5 minutes. So it's been really funny to try and update people. So what I usually tell them is the trip was all the things. It was exciting, it was wonderful, it was challenging, it was dreadful at times. I ended up meeting so many new people and having so many experiences that I had never had before, and I'm very, very grateful for it. So the first 3 months we spent in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and that was an interesting experience. It was really a time of training and a time of pouring into us. We got to know each other as a team. There were 19 of us total students, and then there were 25 with staff. Most of the students were in their early 20s. A couple of us were a bit older. And we really got to know each other. I didn't travel around Europe very much at that time. Just really got to know Amsterdam and got to know the people on my team. Amsterdam for me was just a time of learning that God really cares about who we are and how we are as people. He sends us into ministry. Yes, we're always meant to minister and to reach out to others, but he also finds it so important to pour into us. And so for me, it was a time of really refreshing, a time of healing, a time to be able to get into the Word of God and to listen for His voice, and also just read His Word and learn more and more about Him and share with others, fellowship with others in this time. After Amsterdam, we went to Israel. Israel was kind of a funky time for me. It was 2 weeks, and we were about to split off into two different teams. One team was going to Africa, and the other team was going to Russia. And so it was kind of funky. We were like already splitting off a little bit while being in this other country and having all these new experiences. And so we did a bit of tourism in Jerusalem, and then we moved on to Galilee, and we got to do a little bit of outreach in Galilee. Excuse me. You can't actually evangelize in Israel. It's against the law to proselytize, so to say. But we could do practical ministry, so we did some cleaning up in Galilee through a ministry called the Beautiful Land Initiative. We did some practical ministry at kind of a mission there, and then we also were able to do worship in like different city squares and stuff like that. And so a lot of prayer, obviously, we were able to do also there. So after Israel, like I said, we split off into two teams, and one team went to Russia, and then my team, the team I was on, we went to Africa. We went to South Africa, Cape Town specifically, and then we went further up the coast to Namibia, to the capital city of Windhoek, and another city called Rehoboth. Going to Africa was so unexpected for me. I had thought that we would be somewhere in Eastern Europe or Russia, which I was also really excited about, but then the opportunity came up for Africa, and it just worked out really well. It was the right team for me to be on and the right experience, and I'm so grateful I had it. What we did both in Cape Town and in Windhoek had to do with kids. We did a lot of kids ministry. That's something I'm passionate about, and I loved being able to do that there. We did almost like summer camps in Namibia. They came out to sort of the countryside of Namibia, and we did these camps with all the bicycling and the tug of war you saw and things like that. We also obviously did Bible lessons, and we did small groups with them. We did worship. We went into the city several times and did Bible lessons and things with even younger kids. There's a daycare center that YWAM base kind of runs, and so we did all of that. We also did things that I'm not so comfortable with, things like street ministry, street evangelism, walking around, asking people if they wanted prayer for anything, or trying to find a way to share the love of Jesus with them, share the message of Jesus with them. That was a bit of a challenge and a stretch for me. So after we left Namibia, we went south to Cape Town again. We took a bus both times. It was 22 hours in a bus sleeper from Windhoek to Cape Town. So it wasn't as bad as, like, it wasn't like chickens and sleeping in an upright position, but I mean 22 hours in a bus is never fun, so it was an adventure. Cape Town was actually a huge challenge for me. It was really hard. I think in Cape Town it's when the poverty really hit me. Windhoek kind of felt like, oh, I can handle this, you know, we're doing good, and there's ministries here doing good. And Cape Town, every day we went to a different area and worked with a different ministry that was ministering in the poorest of the poor regions, kind of the ghettos in Cape Town. They're called townships, and so many poor and so many people whose families struggle with alcohol and with drug abuse, with fatherlessness and with gang violence. And so I really found it challenging to kind of wrap my mind around that and my heart. And of course, by that time too, we were 2 months into this mission portion of it, so probably a little bit of me was tired as well. But so many good things from that time. I'm still blown away by the courage and the perseverance of the saints who are working in Cape Town and in these ghettos. One man that we met, his name was Uncle John, and he opened a library in his home for kids to come and to be able to have a place to read, to get homework help, to just have a safe place. It was one of the more violent areas. Really wonderful man that we met. His name was Pastor Ivan. He built his church intentionally in one of the most violent townships in Cape Town, and created it as a compound where kids could come and get food and play in a clean environment and be safe. I get Facebook updates from him, and he continues to do amazing, wonderful ministry, cleaning up neighborhoods and getting people involved in beautifying their space and taking pride in their space. And I'm overwhelmed by just the courage and the bravery to step in. So many stories like that, so many people working and ministering in Cape Town. It's wonderful to see and to be a part of. So how has this changed me? I want to say, first of all, that I really got a sense in this time, not just in my head, but also in my heart, of the faithfulness of God. God is always faithful, and that's something, it's a concept and I guess a belief I've struggled with a lot, because you look around sometimes at your life and you say, like, is this faithfulness, God? Because if this is faithfulness, I'm not really sure I'm okay with it. But I really felt that the Lord moved from my head to my heart this faith that he is truly faithful. And it's one of the first things that he shared with his people through Moses. When he declared his name to Moses, he said, I am faithful and full of compassion and mercy, slow to anger and abounding in mercy and love. And that's something he wanted his people to know right from the start. And I really felt him showing me that on this journey, even in the tough times. God is faithful. One of the things that really struck me about being here, being in America, was how big our houses are. It's just so many 2-room shacks, and we're so blessed. We're blessed, but we also, sometimes don't realize what a privilege it is. Not a right so much as a privilege. And I don't know that I'll ever look at that the same again. So since this mission experience, what have I done? What am I doing? So getting back to the country, like I said, it was like 8 months, more like 6, but of just like, where am I going to get a job? Where am I going to live? All these things, and just having to work on that. So I just now feel like it's settling down. I live and work in Troy, New York. I work for an Episcopal church here in Troy, and I also work and live at an Episcopal ministry here in Troy. You can probably hear the sirens right now. I'm right in the kind of urban section. We do outreach to low-income families here in the city, and work with youth and work with adults, and I do a little of that. And I also am applying for grad school. I really felt a stirring, and I have a gift of teaching, and I want to use it. I don't know if it'll be at the collegiate level. I don't know where, but I want to teach the Word of God, and I want to see people transformed by it. Definitely I'm excited for the next steps, what God has in store. He is faithful. So thank you again, all of you, for your financial support. Thank you for your prayer support. I have to say that I felt it on this trip like I've never felt it before. I felt the prayers, and I really thank you for that. And I hope to see you again soon.